All right, welcome back to Hot Topics TV. You already know if the topic is hot, we are on it. Go right ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and help this channel to continue to grow. Let's get right into this. Diddy plans to testify at his criminal trial. The lawyers have now confirmed it. Matter of fact, his attorney said that he is eager to tell his story, and they are not sure if they can stop him from doing it. In most cases like these, you would see that the attorneys would advise their clients to not take the stand. Take most famous people that have gotten in trouble before. You notice they did not take the stand. Diddy, on the other hand, plans to take the stand, and he will not be swayed, according to his attorneys. So, Sean Diddy Combs, his attorneys have now said that he is very eager, quote unquote, very eager to testify at his upcoming trial, according to his lawyers. His attorney said, I don't know that I could keep him off that stand. I really don't know. He is eager. I think he has a story to tell. I think this is his story, and I think he will tell every part of this story, including what we have seen on video. I'm guessing they're talking about the video surveillance footage that came out when he was physically assaulting Cassie Ventura in that hotel that no longer exists back in 2016. There's more to that story than that. Matter of fact, in the indictment, there's way more information concerning that. In Cassie's own words, she told that story the long way, right? And the long way ended up being, if you hear the whole story, you would look at it different. Somebody has to take accountability. And although I would say Diddy would get 90% of the blame for the way he abused her in that video, but there was a 10% blame on Cassie's part as a grown woman who chose to be locked up in a hotel room doing drugs with an individual who was in a bad place. Now, you know what happens when people lock up in rooms and do drugs. Anyways, I'm not excusing anything for Diddy. Notice I gave him 90% of the blame. I guess her 10% was her being there and placing herself in that position. Bad choices about the type of people who you be around. But it'll be interesting to hear Diddy's side of that story once that story is being told from that angle. He has his story, and his story is that. And I think only he can tell his story in the way that he can tell it in real time. It's a human story. It's a story of love. It's a story of hurt. It's a story of heartbreak. This is his attorney going in saying it's a story of love and hurt and heartbreak. Now, when he described that relationship, the word he uses more than any other word is heartbreak. He was heartbroken. She was heartbroken. I guess they're going to take the Ventura story and say that Diddy was so in love and things weren't working out. And you know how you feel when your relationship you've invested so much in is not working out, right? And she's heartbroken and you're heartbroken and you want to let go, but you can't let go, and you think it's the best thing to do, but you're doing the worst and the most at the same time, and it was just confusing. And I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting to hear him tell his story. And I know these media houses out here are going to be bringing us the details out in the public, because this makes for good TV. Now, Ventura, or Cassie, she dated Puffy back in 2007, and between 2007 and 2018. Now, you got to remember, if you look back and ask what's going on in Puffy's life between 2007 and 2018, he was with other people. Cassie obviously knew that he was with other people. Other people knew that he was with Cassie. You see what I'm saying? It's a messy ass story. Well, she ended up suing him in 2023. And she alleged that she was trafficked, that she was raped, that she was beaten by him on many occasions over their years long relationship. So a lot of the stuff that you hear about in his indictment about the trafficking and the rape and the beating, it is all about Cassie. Now, the lawsuit ended up being settled out of court for a undisclosed amount of money, like less than 24 hours after it was filed. Now, following her lawsuit is where all the floodgates opened on Puffy, on Diddy, on P Diddy, accusing him of all types of stuff. On September 16th, he was arrested and indicted on sex trafficking charges, racketeering charges, transporting and engaging in prostitution charges. At his arraignment the next day, a unsealed federal indictment revealed that he allegedly hosted these now famous freak-off parties. Can't get that word out of our mouth. Ever since we've seen the 1,000 plus bottles of baby oil and, ooh, get this part. I believe it was 748 or 758 dildos. I know it was like 700 and something dildos, almost 50. So it's almost 750 dildos. I don't know what you plan to do with 750 dildos and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I would say there's a lot of freaking that was going on. Or maybe he was selling baby oil and dildos. I don't know. Now, it's alleged that he coerced and drugged women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activities that would sometimes last for days and often included male commercial sex workers as well. He's also been accused of running a criminal enterprise that included his associates, his employees, his affiliates, his friends, and using his influence of his business empire to coerce, to control, and to abuse these female victims. In a resurfaced 1999 interview with Entertainment Tonight, you could see Diddy nonchalantly predicting that he would most likely get arrested for doing all these types of crazy things, even though he wasn't telling us all the details back then. Not like now. Back then, in 1999, he never said, well, we got a room that has like 1,000 bottles of baby oil and 750 dildos in there. And, you know, he just said, I'm probably going to get arrested for doing all these types of crazy things. I don't think he thought that it was going to come to this, that it has came to. Now, speaking about his infamous parties, he said, they won't even give me a permit for the parties, and they don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't going to stop. Damn. We gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. Now, I've seen the pictures by now, and some of them we cannot show on YouTube because I don't want YouTube to flag the video and say that we are showing sexually suggestive material. So I'll just describe some of them to you. I've seen some of the pictures of the parties where there's a woman and a man having intercourse while the part. If you picture going to a party and everybody is fully dressed in the party, music is playing, DJ is doing what he's doing, except for if you turn around and look to your left, there's a dude going at it, banging the daylights out of a female right there. And then if you walk 10 steps to your right, there's a woman laid out on a table, butt-ass naked, food all over her body, and you could just go eat off of her body. That kind of stuff. That's what Puffy's parties were like. Now, even that right there is said to be just the light part of the party, because where the darkness really happened, they had a bookshelf and they would spin the big bookshelf around, and it's like some secret door into a dungeon. And back there is where the more serious, sinister things would happen. But you had to be super privileged to be invited back there. You know what's creepy? What's creepy is how someone testified that Puffy or Diddy, he would sit and watch, and he would stare at everybody else that came to his party menacingly, as if he was scouting who gets a pass from the regular party to go behind the bookshelf into the extra party that's about to happen. So, and there was another testimony I must tell you about. People have said who entered there that the girls seemed really young. And the person who testified is a person who used to be close to Puffy, because they were close to somebody who was really close to him. So when they went to these parties, they would go as a +1. Now, it was through this means that they were able to gather information that they have given or testified to the feds. The person said that they remember all the celebrities being there. And they're talking about a list of everybody. They named all the A-listers and then said that was just the tip of the iceberg. When I say everybody that you can name that was famous was there, everybody you can name that was famous was probably there, or powerful was there. Not necessarily famous, but powerful. But yes, a lot of famous people as well. And the person said, of course, these people would be dressed in their finest garments, right? Expensive name brands, expensive jewelry. They're stars among stars and powerful people in the same space. So they are there to network. They are there to show off as well, have a grand old time, rich people style. But then there would be these girls, and it will be like 10, 11, 12 of them, and they'll be walking around throughout the party. And their impression they got of these girls were that the girls, I'm going to put it like this, and I hate to do this, but the person who told this, the way it was printed, it said that the girls looked to be about 15 years old, like in that age group. Now, mind you, sometimes an 18-year-old could look like a 15-year-old. Matter of fact, a lot of times an 18-year-old could look like a 15-year-old, as well as a 15-year-old could look like an 18-year-old. And to Puffy's credit, to Diddy's credit, there is no accusation of underage girls that he did anything with in his indictment. So this whole telling a story of seeing these young girls in the party, the person went as far as to say, man, these young girls were dressed in the cheapest. Remember, they're around people who are dressed in expensive garments, expensive jewelry, rich people who you can look at them and tell they're wealthy, right? Plus, they're famous already, so you know they're also wealthy. The cars they pull up in, etc. But then when you look at the girls were dressed in like some cheap $10 dresses. The girls were dressed in like barely anything, covering barely anything on their body, and some cheap $10 shoes. And they were walking around through the party. And the person said, I suspect that these girls were pretty much just walking around making themselves available to any guest who wanted to take them and duck off into a corner or into one of these rooms and do whatever they wanted to do with them. In other words, I suspected that these were the sex workers. Now, back to his attorney. Speaking about his infamous parties and all. Now, you're going to hear about my parties, Puffy said back in the day. He said, they're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me. Doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time. During his first hearing, his attorney called Diddy an innocent man with nothing to hide. And he said that the star had been cooperating with the federal authorities and voluntarily relocated to New York a week ahead in anticipation of this arrest. We knew it was coming down. We heard about it through the pipelines. He made himself available, So his next hearing actually is scheduled for 8 days from today. His next hearing is scheduled for October 9th at 2 p.m. And we will see how that goes when that happens. Question of the day is, do you think that Diddy is going to take the stand at his trial, tell his story, but involve a lot of other people's names in his story? That part. And then if he does, I'm thinking Harvey Weinstein. The way how Harvey Weinstein went into jail and then suddenly ended up dead? Could we see that happen to Diddy? Or do you see Diddy beating all these charges and coming up a victorious man? I'm telling you what, if he is able to beat these charges and a year from now, 2 years from now, you look back and this is a thing of the past and he is exonerated, you won't be able to tell Diddy shit, period. But it'll be a damn shame to see him work so hard, build his brand over all these years, come up to millionaire, billionaire status, and then lose everything like this. Because let's not forget, they've already made it very clear, if he is convicted, they plan on seizing all his assets, business and personal assets. That means the private jets gotta go. That means the yachts gotta go. That means the mansions, multiple mansions gotta go. And his mansions ain't no $2-3 million mansions. Diddy lives in $50 million, $60 million mansions, right? So imagine losing all that. And then they'll be chasing his money wherever it is located, trying to take every red cent he has. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.